and welcome to today's episode of LinkedIn with Louise. Today, I want to talk to you about why you should think about hiring a LinkedIn coach or mentor. First of all, welcome to the podcast. If you haven't tuned in before, I'm delighted that you're here. My name is Louise Brogan. I live in Northern Ireland and I have quite a busy home life with 3 kids and a spaniel who gets me out walking every day, which is super. And I have been hosting this podcast for, well over 2 years anyway. I also have a YouTube channel where I share weekly videos about how to use LinkedIn. And I love working with people like you who know that they could be getting a lot more out of LinkedIn, but aren't entirely sure what way to go about it. So I help people develop strategies. I do LinkedIn audits of both personal and company profiles. And because I'm fully committed to LinkedIn, it's my zone of genius, I suppose, as my American friends would say. It's the area where I know, because first of all, I really enjoy using LinkedIn and connecting with my network on LinkedIn. But also, I love to geek out over new features and figure out what works and helping my clients figure out what works as well. So I would love to help you. But let's talk about why you should think about hiring some kind of coaching or support into your business. Whether it's a LinkedIn coach, whether it is a more general social media coach, whether it's a business coach. Why do people work with coaches anyway? Let's dig in. All right. The number one reason that I have hired coaching in the past is because it's tough trying to figure out stuff on your own, basically. Why not pay for somebody else's expertise who is already has the knowledge and expertise that you want, and without having to go and sit through lots and lots of different trainings and courses and workshops and still only really know a percentage of what that person knows. Isn't it good to have somebody who already knows the answers to the questions that you have and actually sometimes has ideas and suggestions that you didn't even know were possible to use on whatever business or social media platform you're trying to use? And I'll give you an example. I have a client that I'm working with at the moment who wants to run a paid webinar or workshop online. And we were having our coaching session and I said, well, let's set up a LinkedIn event then. And the client knew about LinkedIn events, but didn't realize the potential behind them. So for example, if you are creating a webinar coming up in the next 6 weeks, or a paid workshop online that you want to get people to, or even an in-person workshop, depending on where you live. When you create a LinkedIn event, you have so much opportunity. You can link to a sign-up form that includes payment options. You can invite everybody in your network. You can also, once you've created your event, you can make it private or public, actually. So if you already have, say, for example, you're working with a group of 10, or you're working with a company and you want to do training for them, you can create an event and make it private just to the members of that team or that company, but make sure everybody's invited. When someone then clicks on the link and says they're attending your event, they have to click permission, but it sends out an email to them to let them know that they're attending the event, the date and time of it, and then they can click on the details in there and it adds it to their calendar directly. You will also get a reminder from LinkedIn when your event is coming up. So it makes it easier to get people actually to attend your event. So that was just one example. So my client didn't know that you could do all of this. And because I've been working in online business for 7 years now, and there were other things that I was able to say about the wording of your event, how you're more likely to be able to get people to attend, how to market the event once you've created it, and so much more. So having that kind of support and years of experience added into your business, for me, is a huge benefit of actually going outside to get external support or outsource to get some support for your business. So LinkedIn coaching, let's look at it specifically. For those of you who feel a bit overwhelmed by LinkedIn, not sure what to post, you know what you want to talk about, but you're not sure how to write it in a way that people are going to see it and that people are going to respond to you. So another example would be that I did a workshop recently for a group of 10 people. And in that group, we looked specifically at the kind of content you share on LinkedIn that gets engagement. And I love working with people and going back and looking at previous posts and previous things they've done. And in a helpful way, saying, well, this is maybe change this a little bit, and it's going to have such a dramatic improvement on your return on time and investment. So, for example, one of the attendees of the workshop had run a LinkedIn poll, and I think only got one respondent. And we were able to go and look at the poll, and straight away I could see where they had been making just small errors that, when fixed, would make such a dramatic difference to the next poll that they did. And lo and behold, they literally left the workshop and went and created a poll and started getting engagement on it straight away. Not just people clicking on the options in the LinkedIn poll. And if you don't know what I'm talking about for LinkedIn polls, go to my website, louisebrogan.com, and there is an entire blog post about how to do LinkedIn polls on there. Just go and check it out. So they not only were getting people clicking on the options in the poll, but they were also getting comments underneath, and conversations were starting underneath. And that is one of the things that I love teaching my clients and showing them how to do, is actually how to put your content out there and get people responding. Because all of a sudden, you've got people having conversations with you. Guess what happens then? More people see your content. And as a result of that, you get more leads that are actually interested in your products, services, expertise, reaching out to connect to you. And they ask how they can work with you. So for me, being able to show a client how to get people from connecting with you or following you right through that whole transformation to where they actually reach out to you and say, I would like to work with you. I need to know more about your services. Can you help me with da, 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 da? That's what lights me up. I love that. And that's what happens with the clients that I work with. Other things that I love doing with my clients are, there's a lot of hand holding. So people will contact me and say, Louise, I want to create an event. I want to run a poll. I want to do a video. What would you do if this was the topic? How would you write that? Or how would you get more eyes on that? Or do you think this is a good conversation starter for my network? So just having somebody who is already knee deep in getting engagement and conversation started in LinkedIn makes such a difference. And getting those eyes on your posts, whether you are writing your own posts, or for some of my clients, I'm writing their posts for them and then they're going in and actually putting it into their LinkedIn profiles. So it really depends which way people prefer to work. But having a well-written post that works for the LinkedIn platform is just really works and gives you such a sense of achievement when you can see that you're getting engagement and reaction. And I'm just going to pull up a post that I put out one day ago, so 24 hours ago, and it has had over 3,000 views, 141 reactions, and 56 comments. And that was a post about appearing in Forbes magazine, which is actually has been a goal for my business for a long time and was achieved this week. And I was very excited about it. And do you know what? My audience know I'm excited about it because I show my personality in my posts. And I literally was talking about how excited I was. And people love that. People love a good news story on LinkedIn. So, but there's other posts. Of course, that's not a sales post. It's not showcasing what I do in my business. Although I think that some people follow me because they want to be in Forbes. They want to be writing for websites like Social Media Examiner, they want to be invited as guest experts and being paid for their expertise. So there are people that follow me for that as well, because they want to see how is that working out for me? How am I getting those leads? And I'll tell you, it is about engaging with your network, and sometimes having someone to support you and hold your hand doing that makes all the difference. So hand holding and having ideas, feedback on the content that you are sharing. And this works in two ways. So for some of my clients, we will have our training session and we will plan the content for the next 4 weeks. So for example, if you are a sales coach and you want to use LinkedIn to get more clients that will come and work with you to help them with their sales. As a sales coach, you know that if you just go on and try and sell your services, you're going to put people off. You might hit the mark now and again, but it's not really a great strategy. So if you were a sales coach and you wanted to get more leads, qualified leads really on LinkedIn, rather than people who just want to pick your brain. Yes, I answer questions that people ask me, but more often than not, it's actually people reaching out who want to work with me and hire me for my services. But if you were a sales coach, we would sit down and work out, right, what topic could be your topic for the next 2 weeks, and what could you share on LinkedIn that's going to spark interest from your audience, that's going to make them think that actually they need your help or support moving forward, and what showcases you as the expert in that area, that really they're not going to look at anybody else. Go back and listen to last week's episode about 5 ways to build your authority online, and to get a few more tips if you haven't listened to that episode already. But so we plan out content together, and once we're working together, so for example, if we had our first meeting in February and we planned out strategically what you're going to use LinkedIn for, who you want to connect with, who you want to be spending time engaging with, what kind of content you're going to share that's going to showcase your knowledge and expertise and lead to people reaching out to work with you. Then in March, we would start by reviewing what worked and then making the plan for March's content. So it's not just about planning ahead. We also look back at what's worked and what hasn't worked, which is so important. And if you're not working with a coach and you're doing this on your own, I highly recommend that you keep an eye on what's working for you on LinkedIn. And you can do this inside your dashboard on your personal profile. You can have a look and see how many people are viewing your profile, how many people are looking at your post, and how many people are you appearing in their search appearances. And for example, if I look at my post with 3,000 views, I can see that a lot of people who were looking at that post were salespeople, executive directors, and business owners. 740 people out of those 3,000 were from Belfast, which is my hometown. That makes sense. And then London, Seattle, and Toronto. So, are you offering a local service, in which case are all your views coming from people who live within your state or your county? So you need to go back and have a look and check and review what's working, what posts are resonating with your audience, and that helps you with guidance going forward. So planning and being strategic about what you're going to use on your LinkedIn content and having feedback. The other thing is that for a lot of us, it's about accountability. And that is so important in business, that you could say, yes, I'm going to post on LinkedIn twice a week, Louise, going forward now, because you've advised me that's best practice. I'm going to post once a week or once a day on my company page. Whatever it is that you decide to do, who's actually keeping you accountable? Are you ticking off a little list on a notepad, or do you have a meeting set up with your coach in 2 weeks at which they're going to say to you, okay, show me the posts that you did on LinkedIn in the last 2 weeks. How many people did you connect with? How many conversations did you start? How many of those messages